Hello everyone, in this video we're gonna continue creating a building system, and today we're gonna be able to build some parts of a building, and they will be visible, and new parts will be shown. So like in this case, I've built a bench, built a basement, I will build stairs now, and beams for my house will be shown right after that. Here is how it looks like, and let's start. Hello everyone. In this video we're gonna finally build parts of our building, and at first I'm gonna fix small issue. Now we can see resources when we are looking on a part of building from very long distance. But they should be visible on a short distance, and let's fix it in our build component in function make trace. Uh, Here, when we are making the line trace when selected building is not valid, we are making it for 3000 distance. Let's decrease it to something like 500 or maybe less, maybe 200. And now let's check it. That seems too little. Let's make 500. Yes, here it is. And now we can build from a short distance. Now, to build, I have an animation for my building with a hammer. Maybe you have your own. Let's add a notify here, someplace. In my case, in many places, I have one notify here. I will create a new notify, call it hammer, call it just build, copy it, one here, one here, one here. Okay, now I will open the animation blueprint for my character. Of course, it will differ from yours, but the logic is stays the same. I will create a new state machine for my hammer. And we'll copy it from axe machine. I will time lapse it. Okay, here I will add my animation of building, build standing loop. So it will be a looped animation. And I will do nothing for a bottom right now. Okay, now in event graph of animation blueprint, we can add an event like anim notify build. And from that place, you should get a character. get building component, and we should call some event on building component. Let's open building component here, event graph, and create new event called um, on build. And let's call this event. Here it is. Also, I forgot to connect this part to my uh, enum. I forgot how to add a pause here. Oh, here to add to blend pause in, I will add pause from my hammer, and I will plug my state machine for hammer here. Now, I think that if I will attack with a hammer, yeah, animation starts. Okay, now in building component on build, we should uh, we should also know on which part of the building we are looking at. So on make trace, when we're making a trace and hitting something with the build part component, we should save it in a variable. So after breaking the hit result, let's promote hit actor to a variable and call it current build part. Also, will not promote an actor, we will promote a component. So let's promote this component variable and call it current build part. And on true, we will do that. And on false, we will get set an empty value to current build part. So let's go back to event graph and let's get current build part, convert to validate get. And if it is valid, let's open build part component. And let's let's make a function and call it build from inventory. And let's put here our inventory system from where we will get materials. Inventory component. And let's go to building component and call this build from inventory. And inventory will be character get component by class. In my case, it is inventory component. In your case, you may provide an, an array of your inventory or something else, or your component. That depends on how inventory done is in your project. Okay, now let's open build part component. I will get content. Content is an array of items in my inventory system. And now let's also get resources to build. And we need to find a first resource that we can build. So let's go for each with break, for each loop with break. We're looping through resources needed. We are breaking a resource, checking if amount is greater than 0. Then we are breaking a resource here. Mm -hmm. Here we get a data table and row name. Let's get row with such name. Mm -hmm. Now we are breaking as I don't remember what's in the build resource. Let's check it. Okay, it's here. Let's open one of resources like branch. Oh, like wall, house wall. I didn't add resources for a wall. I added them only for basement and stairs. That's part of DT items. And DT items in my case contain structure named item. So we're breaking as item here. Okay, and for each item in resources to build, we need to search for such item in our inventory. So in my case, I think that I have an inventory find item with item ID, and item ID here it is. In your case, I think that in my case, I have a find item function in inventory. In your case, you may have similar function, or you should create one, or you can create just a new function here where you will search for an item in a given array. So let's continue, and let's continue. I'm searching for an item in my array, and I don't need a data table row here. If such item was found in my inventory, then I will break from a for each loop. And in resources to build, we need to decrease amount. So we're getting the resources to build and setting array element here at this index in for each loop. And an item will be the same item, but with amount -1. Make resource will stay the same. But amount will be amount minus minus no minus -1 and we're setting this resource. After that, we're breaking from array, and that's all, I think. Okay. Also, we should decrease the amount of this item in an inventory. So I'm getting an inventory and remove item. No. Okay, we'll get content. Okay, I have a function remove from inventory that doesn't that's not implemented. So I will call it remove from inventory. Item ID will be this one, and I will remove only one item. And after that, I will break. Now let's check if we can build now. If resources will update, we cannot build now, but I will add some items. Yeah, here it is, resources added, but nothing happens. That's because if an amount, we don't change the state of our build part component, and also if we are setting an array element with amount 0, we should remove this item. So here, before this, we should check if this is greater than 0. If it is, then we're setting an element. In other case, we are removing item, remove index, and this index. I'll make it cleaner a little bit. Okay, let's check it again. Okay, no resources here, and fine. Now when we finished building, our building part should be shown as build it, not with green or red material. So after build from inventory was called, and here when we call change part state, we have unbuild it and build it variant, and we need to set build it variant when the resources to build is empty. So let's make a sequence here. First, we will do everything here. Let's comment it and call it build iteration, for example. And second, we will check if resources to build is empty. Then we will change part state to build it. Okay, that looks great. everything works except few things. We can build part even if it is green. Like, let me stay here, and okay, I have a bottom animation from tree cutting, and I don't have notifies on bottom build animation. And I forgot to add collision to my basement. Here it is. It's built it, but as we can see, other parts not shown. So why this happens, I don't know, to be honest. Let's go to construction component, and on change build state, we have a state building. Okay, it searched for maybe every build time we should also tell our construction component to update. So it has to update its state to show or hide, to update priorities of buildings. So let's get an we don't have a selected building, and maybe not here. I don't know why do I have such for each loop here that does nothing, but it will help us. Uh, so, for example, I can add an event dispatcher to my build part component that will tell construction component that it is built as an example, but I need to change building state. Yeah, I think that's a variant. So let's go to build part component and create an event dispatcher here and call it on builded dispatcher. And we will call it not here, but here. It will be called when state has been changed to build it. And now in construction component on event graph, at the place where we are looping through each child actor, we will get a component by class, and we will get build part component here, and we will bind event on build dispatcher. And let's create a new event. Let's also move it a little bit up. Here in this, I will comment this and type heading box component. And here we will create an event, and let's create a new event on builded one of components. And on builded one of components, we will call change building state building. Not building, we will change it on current state. And I will comment it as on builded part of a building. Now, I will change an animation for a bottom building because it's hard for me to use this. To look at current animation. Here it is. I will loop it, and also on this animation I will not standing ground loop, and I will also add a notify here. Notify will be the same, and we don't create a new notify, we just searching for current. In this list we have a notify we've created, it called build. I will copy it and paste it everywhere. Here it is. Okay, now let's check if it is working. No. Access infinite loop detected. Let's check. What? We're getting all child vectors. Okay, we're getting an owner, getting all child vectors, and for each of them, we are binding. This is not right. Okay. Um, for some reason, we have an infinite loop here. It doesn't mean that we truly have infinite loop. It means that too much iterations were made at one tick. And okay, let's delete this. Also, I don't need this. I only need this and this. Okay, and from build part component, I will delete on build dispatcher and go back to building component. And here on build, I have to get a construction we are building. So I will get current build part. No, that's a bad idea. Um, add dispatcher again on build it. And here I've called an onBuilded dispatcher in a for each loop on builded dispatcher. And I don't need to call it in the loop. I have to call it only here before a loop. Now let's go back to construction component, and here where we are looping through each actor component. Let's go back to event graph, and I think that dispatcher is a solution for us. So sorry for such a delay. I will add a sequence here. And if it is valid, we will get a build part component and bind on builded dispatcher and create an event. Okay, infinite loop. Nothing is called, but even binding this event to this one gives us an infinite loop. Why binding does it? So let's just print hello, for example, here. Okay, and not. Mm, maybe if I will not create this event every time, maybe if I will do it like this, it will solve the issue. No. Infinite loop on get overlap component is higher than. Okay. By the way, it seems like this is called every time. So on build it dispatcher, we should, for example, if I will call show components with priority and find list build priority. Here, okay, now this works. Um, to be honest, I don't know why it didn't work earlier, but it works and it's good. Sorry for the delay. As I mentioned in previous videos, I'm making this system on a go and I may have some bugs and issues. So now it works, and if I wanna add, if I wanted to be able to build it higher, for example, I wanna build a beam, I have to add resources here. Now let's 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 fix some bugs. First, now we can place one building here, and then, okay, by the way, the it's not marked with red, unfortunately. I don't know why. Uh, but for example, bench. Okay, for example, me here, and if I'm gonna place house on me, I'm still able to do it. but let's fix this. We should not be able to place building if it didn't pass the placement validation. So when building component in input in place building, we also we have a branch here, and we should make an end boolean and get current selected building, get it construction component. I will just copy it from here, and can build should be true. Also, the next bug that I mentioned is that one blueprint placed doesn't affect validation of other blueprints. So in construction script, we have a box component of type building that only checks world static and world dynamic, but also it should check other boxes with type building. So let's copy one of them, plug here, and select channel building. Now let's try it. I'll place one house, and here they are affected. Okay, and this house also placed. So my, okay, I forgot to plug this end boolean here. And now I can place a house. Also, on my attack, I'm playing an animation, but I should not play an animation when I'm just placing a building. So that's a problem in my animation blueprint. In your case, you may not face such problem. The problem is that I'm going to an attack animation when my boolean is attacking is true, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna also check get a character, get component by class, get building. No, not here, of course. I need to do it in event graph and not a character info. Yeah, it will be character info, and I will do it here. I will get building component, get selected building, and if it is valid, then we will create new variable of type boolean and call it is currently previewing building, and its category will be building. By default it is false, and I will set it to true if it is valid and to false if it is not valid. Also comment it and call it is currently previewing building. So add a rewrote note here and here. And in a name graph, I will only go to the state if is currently pre-building, not true. We'll copy it, and also we should affect an bottom animation in my case. Here it is now. When I'm placing, will place now. If I'm holding right now an attack animation, Animation starts, and if I have a house, then no animation is played, and it will only play if I will not preview a building. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and sorry for some issues. Hope it will help someone.